The Monday Night Raw after Survivor Series. We're living in a post-Undertaker era. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Matt Morgan and Raj Giri. Here to talk about everything that happened on Monday Night Raw. Matt Morgan. Tonight, 3 hours was the showtime tonight. How long did it feel to you watching tonight's Monday Night Raw?
8 hours, and why did you refer to me as Matt Morgan? Why can't I just be Matt?
I like to be formal, you know?
Just if someone's joining in for the first time.
Yeah, I want them to know. We got Matt Morgan, the blueprint, here on the podcast.
Rocking the 2007 TNA hat.
That's nice. Nice. That's had some. That has some mileage on it.
A little bit.
Yeah. No, this felt like a very long show tonight. The last hour was stacked, but it was almost like they strategically programmed it to feel as long as humanly possible.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't, as far as like entertaining promos and stuff, I didn't think this show had much of that. But you know, it had some good matches and stuff that made sense, and so you know, it just I don't know if it's the 2 nights in a row, but tonight's show just felt really long to me as well.
Stone Cold's podcast with Undertaker was amazing.
I'm a half hour in.
Amazing. I suggest everybody go watch that. Don't watch Raw.
No, I suggest you go and watch all the cameos that Undertaker shot in character that are being shared on social media today.
We got a bunch of those on Wrestling Inc.
What? Wait, what did he do?
These cameo videos.
For $1,000 a pop. $1,000 a piece.
Yeah.
Good on him. Go get it. Get that money. He protected that character for 30 years. Go cash in.
And it is amazing on Cameo the things celebrities will say, normally for not a very big amount of money.
Dude, one of my friends, like not really a good, one of my friends, he showed me a cameo of a birthday video from Andrew Dice Clay, and he was completely bombed.
Yeah.
He's like arguing with his wife in the background. It was hilarious. And I go, that was worth whoever bought that for you.
I mean, so Undertaker, the one I watched today where he's giving a shout out to All Elite Scooby-Doo and congratulating him on his upcoming wedding, and that his life as a single man will rest in peace. That was worth every cent of that $1,000.
Goodness gracious!
The stuff people pay for.
Does he dress in? Is he in gimmick?
Oh yes, yeah. And he's doing the voice. He's selling it, man. This isn't like
it's like someone asked him to thank Vince McMahon, which was and he's like, I thank Vince McMahon for my career. that's $1,000.
He's in his character, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With the hat and everything. Yeah. You got to see it.
Hey, you got a family to feed. I can't say anything bad about it because I would too.
Yeah.
I just again, it's always so weird to see it because I'm so grateful that he protected his character.
Sure.
As a full grown ass man, him showing me how to do like this blow up drill when we were overseas. Still, out of every wrestler I've met, and Hulk Hogan to a degree too, still little 6-year-old, 8-year-old, 10-year-old Matt Morgan's going bonkers inside his head. Like this is a huge, huge superstar. Like there is no getting past that with him. There just isn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I always appreciated him staying in gimmick, staying in character, because even though I was a wrestler myself, I still was a humongous fan. And when he would come on, it's just like in awe. Just, you know what I mean? I'd watch him from the beginning of him walking through the gorilla, and then when he'd slow his entrance, once he'd get through the curtain, I'm like, I could never do that. You could not pay me enough money. I would physically not be able to walk that slow on purpose. There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
Just, like he was so detailed.
It's harder than it seems. Like just try it. Yeah.
You think about the big matches he's in too. So like he was wrestling Eddie Guerrero, I think, or something like that. A huge match, main event. And I'm like, how is he not like super excited about this? Adrenaline running, where he could still calm it down and stick to his character. Slowly walk into the ring, man. I was always so impressed by that.
Yeah. Oh, he's awesome. You know, there have been some people who were saying that they really should have held off on the Taker retirement, the farewell last night until they had people and done something else, you know, at the Survivor Series. And because, you know, piping in the thank you Taker chants and things like that.
I still dug it because I don't think I didn't have any doubt that was fake. Meaning like everyone at home was doing that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if there was an arena, they would have done it. Is it the same as a real arena? No. But guys, this was their 30th anniversary for him.
Yeah.
You can't recreate that date. You can't recreate that date.
And you can still redo this.
Yes.
Because once he's in the Hall of Fame, remember when Warrior was inducted and he was on Raw, he did his big speech on Raw. You could do the same thing with Taker, where he's inducted in the Hall of Fame, does his Hall of Fame speech, and then also does his speech on Raw. And that being his like goodbye.
When's WrestleMania? April?
Yeah.
April. We think there'll be people?
Yeah, they're planning on it.
Okay, so if that's the case, or it's like half of an arena, if it's half of an arena, I would still wait to the following year.
Yeah.
I would do it there with a jam-packed arena, people back to normal again.
Yeah.
And he does his speech then the day after.
I agree. This year, do the Hall of Fame like that you were supposed to do last year with the NWO and Batista, and do that, and then wait for Taker until a full arena.
That's right. There wasn't like an acceptance speech or anything, was there?
There wasn't even a night. There was no ceremony. There was nothing. They just sort of dropped it. And I have to give WWE credit for this, though, with the exception of Hall of Fame. Think of all the movies now that are like Wonder Woman's coming out on Christmas Day on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Like the new Ghostbusters got pushed to next summer, and all these things got pushed back. Hollywood and entertainment largely has been on hold, and I give the WWE credit because they did kind of push pause a little bit in the build-up to Mania, but they said, you know what, we're going to keep things moving forward. We're not going to be deterred, but the show must go on, and we're going to keep putting out new entertainment.
And I was in a precarious position because I got hit up by all the news stations here because it's local. Vince McMahon, WWE Vince McMahon, they kept using his name instead of WWE, which is funny. Half of them called him Ed McMahon. Like, you can't even get the owner's name right. Like, I don't even think we should be doing this interview. How disrespectful.
Is Ed McMahon more famous than Vince McMahon?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Today?
To people over the age of 35. I'm gonna say
over the age of 50.
Yes,
we all know who he is.
Dude, John. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we're over 40.
Yeah, true. 44 here, all of us. What I was gonna say was though, I was in a tough spot because I was in an elected official position, asking my opinion. Hey, should you be opening? And I, as mayor, had just really, talked to our city, talked to everybody about the importance of taking care of our small business owners by ordering online, doing drive-throughs, and really thinking outside the box hard, right? And meanwhile, my old company staying open. So they're trying to angle it that way. And then some of them were really trying to angle it like, hey, hint, hint, elbow, elbow, nudge, nudge. Is this like a favor from the president directly to Ed McMahon? You know what I mean? To Ed McMahon?
Well, maybe from the governor.
They were through the governor. Is like what they were kind of like. Some of them were nudging, like trying to paint it as, and I had to stop them. And I'm like, look, I'm a former wrestler there. I'm very proud of being able to live out a childhood dream and say I did that. Yeah. And I go, but at the end of the day, I promise you one thing. This is literally Vince McMahon thinking he is helping America by providing entertainment. This dude is so patriotic. And I swear to you, it's not a work. It's not an act. It's not a way to make more money. He really believes it. And to a degree, I kind of agree in a certain way that at that time, when COVID first hit, we really, really desperately needed a form of entertainment. Everything was canceled. All the sports shows, games, everything was dead in the water, stopped. And that's a scary time when all you could do is watch news, and more news about, guess what, people are dying. There's the coronavirus. Like, it's scary. It was a scary time. So, I give them credit for wanting to do the right thing by giving everybody something to get their minds off. Because say what you want about wrestling, even when it's crappy like tonight, it still gets my mind off of my job. It gets my mind off of the stress that's going on here under my roof with my family, whatever that's going on. It's a great escape for all of us. And during that time, I said that much. I go, look, I'm not sticking up for him because I used to wrestle there. I'm sticking up for him because he really believes he's helping people. I swear to you, he believes it in his heart.
I mean, thinking about it, Raj, when was the last time Raw or SmackDown didn't run a new episode?
And I brought up 9/11, by the way. Yeah. That was a huge deal for America, if you remember.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had pre-taped episodes.
Yeah, they've never had the only time close was the night that Chris Benoit died, where they aired a bunch of highlight, like clips. But that's the only night where they did anything like a rerun.
I couldn't imagine being in his shoes, Vince's shoes that night, or the company's shoes. Wasn't it like during the actual broadcast that they found out what he really did? And they're like,
yeah, because they were airing a tribute. Like they
right.
were.
So remember that part when we were saying like what an amazing man and wrestler he was? Ignore it. Like, do you remember? Like that's what it felt like. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh
Yeah, it's like, you didn't see any of that.
Yeah, we were just playing. We were just joking. But like seriously, do you guys remember that? Like I couldn't even fathom being put in that position.
No, that day, that night was so surreal, and then when during the show, because that's when I was on the phone that whole time, and you start hearing like the news reports coming in like from the police that
Nancy Grace.
Benoit was
My eyes were glued to Nancy Grace's show, everybody's show I've never watched before.
No, if you were making a series like the Larry Sanders Show or something about the entertainment industry, and you did an episode with that storyline of doing the tribute, then the details come out and they have to like 11th hour, like people wouldn't believe it. They'd be, that's too far fetched. Something like that could never possibly happen in real entertainment or sports.
Yeah, and it came out during the middle is when it was like out on the internet.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what do you do at that point? Do you just stop? You have nothing else lined up. I mean, it was
That's
but anyway,
a tough one.
yeah, and yeah. So
and it's not to make light of the situation, but I mean, but it's just crazy. It's crazy that happened.
Right.
No.
Real quick, Chris went with the $5 Trooper saying, so when are we getting the WWE documentary, The Life and Times of Friendship Frog? Glenn would watch that.
I absolutely
Glad Lana
would.
didn't go through a table tonight. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for tuning
What's
in.
French? Well, no. What's Friendship Frog?
The
Firefly
Funhouse.
Funhouse. The Friendship Frog.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
That was the high point of the show.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Sad
It's Z said, just saw Steph's episode of Undercover Boss, and that was one giant eye roll. Got to get back to taking care of these patients. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. And happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Thank you for doing what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I saw that and I noticed this too. Ian Gomes saying, how high does Matt Riddle have to be to say, I want to be WWE Championship instead of WWE Champion? Yeah, he said that.
Nervous.
He did sound high as F.
Maybe he's just nervous AF.
But Matt Riddle seems like the kind of guy that buys a bag of oregano that someone ripped him off with, smokes it anyhow, and then goes around for the next 6 hours talking about how high he is. So I think it's just as natural to me.
He's that guy, huh?
Yeah, a few good men. Krana Shah saying, you heard Adam Pearce saying Drew McIntyre. That was another little thing. And Sacred Monkey Bone just with the super chat. Thank you.
I will say this. Matt Riddle finally did one thing tonight that endeared me to him. One thing. When he was talking to MVP, not the stupid business ideas, which wasn't funny, but when he called him bro and MVP said, I'm not your bro, and Matt had a genuine disappointed, aw. Like, that was the one part. I was like, Matt Riddle, that's the one likable, endearing thing he's done. He seemed genuinely disappointed.
I did laugh at that.
But aside from that, I do not like that guy at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, stiff.
He's great in the ring, and let's go ahead and get into it, and we'll just once we get to
Raj,
the promo.
I expect that from you. I've never heard Glenn Rubenstein say he doesn't like anybody.
There's just something. Maybe it's growing up in California and knowing
That's
like
a stereotype.
I mean, I've known a lot of Matt Riddles in my life.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. A lot of Matt, like the kind of guy that wears Vans and Vision Streetwear, but doesn't actually skateboard or like ride a BMX bike. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Posers, as it were.
And the stuff they're scripting him, I don't know if it's the stuff they're scripting him or his delivery.
Scripted.
It's just really
He
irritating.
was still feeling he's still feeling out his delivery. In NXT, he wasn't ready yet with his promos.
I thought his promo in that opening segment was the worst of all the guys in the ring. Sheamus getting mad over, Fireface or whatever is pretty irritating as well. But I thought Matt Riddle was the worst in that opening segment.
Is Fireface, is that supposed to be the emoji? Like, what is it?
No, it's because he's got red hair. Just Fireface.
Yeah.
It's like a stupid nickname.
Yeah, it's third grade.
So they're all out in the ring tonight. We open with the men's Raw Survivor Series team out there talking about their clean sweep last night. And of course, there's disagreements. There's strife now that they won. Yes. And who's going to face Drew McIntyre? We're going to have a series of matches tonight that are going to lead to a triple threat next week to decide who's going to face Drew. Braun Strowman like attacked Adam Pearce.
Headbutted him.
Yeah, that was something. But that was legit, right? That wasn't like a makeup bruise later on?
No, that wasn't. If you watch it back, he missed him by quite a bit.
The makeup artist did a very good job with that bruise on the top of Adam Pearce's head. I'll give them credit for that. And then here's an example. Matt Riddle wondered aloud and said he pinned King Corbin, and he wondered if that made him King Bro.
I think it does. I think you should start calling yourself that.
King Bro.
KB.
He said, hey, bro, I want to be a WWE Championship.
If I pin King Corbin, does that make me Kingdom?
Yeah. It's, when people make the comparisons to Rob Van Dam wasn't a caricature. He was like laid back, but he wasn't like, he didn't do like the loud shouting promos, but he wasn't a caricature like this. This is like a Shaggy caricature.
That was shoot RVD all the time.
Yeah.
He wasn't acting.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. You had a conversation with him backstage. That's how he is. He's chill. He's always chill and cool.
Right.
Coolest guy in the room, always.
I don't know. If they pair Matt Riddle with a big cartoon dog, maybe then I'll come around.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet.
Yes. So
Scooby.
Yes.
Scooby and Shaggy.
Got it. Thank you.
So we had a Raw Tag Team title match tonight. The Hurt Business versus the New Day. New Day doing 2 banger matches back to back. Last night losing the Street Profits tonight with the Hurt Business. Tried to do a double count out. And then they restarted the match tonight. New Day picking up the win. Thought this was good, but Raj, you're a big fan of the Hurt Business. I think if it's time to get the belts on these guys and have them be the tag team title holders, I feel like they're already missing the boat on this one.
Yeah, if you just keep beating them every week, by the time they win the tag titles, it means nothing.
Pointless. It's pointless. Yeah, dude. It's about time to make them the World Tag Team Championships. I'm not going to let this go.
But what I'm worried about is this is going to turn into Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza. They had good matches, but just every week they're just because they're the only tag teams on Raw right now. There's no other tag teams, right? Am I missing that? Retribution? They weren't even on the show tonight.
Viking Raiders, Warriors.
They're injured.
Oh.
Ivar's, had surgery. So yeah, there's like no other tag team. So I could see us being in that loop of the same match over and over.
We don't want the Viking Raiders anyway.
Well, I'll do one better, Matt. Pair Eric up with Tucker from Heavy Machinery.
Shut up. Don't even put that out to the universe. Don't. Please don't. Please don't.
Vince wouldn't even know the difference. If you put Tucker in the makeup, I guarantee you Vince would never even know.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Here's how bad it is for Tucker. He wasn't even in that Battle Royal last night.
Yeah.
Nathan McCrimmon with the super chat saying, hey guys, I thought the start of the show was weak. Riddle looked like he was on Z-Quil sleep meds and was trying to stay awake. Sports Gamer for Life asking when the Liv Morgan doc is on the WWE Network. I believe that is this week.
Oh, nice.
What's the doc on?
In the X with the super chat. It is... I'm forgetting exactly right now, but
because I saw Lana had one, I didn't get a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah, I haven't got WWE. They produce so many great documentaries, and
they need to do more. They need to do more. I'm paying money for that thing, and I don't feel like I'm getting my money's worth anymore.
And where is my Matt Morgan? Where is he now? Documentary talking about everything you're doing,
dude. They contacted me like a year ago to do one, and I'm like, still waiting. No big deal.
It's got to be tough being, the second most famous former professional wrestler mayor. It's got to be cold there in Kane's shadow.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Glenn.
Well, no, but you know what I'm talking about, though. It's kind of weird, right? It's like, because if you're like, hey, we've got a former professional wrestler mayor. Oh, is it Kane? No, it's Matt Morgan. Oh.
I don't know. I do more national stuff than Glenn does, though.
That's true.
I'm a Turning Point USA guest speaker.
Yeah. No, it's no discredit. I'm just saying I feel like that's kind of his shtick. That's his thing.
So that documentary airs this Sunday.
Oh, there you go.
What's it on, though?
On the network.
Oh, gee, is it? Because I thought it was on MTV. No, I meant what's it about Liv Morgan?
No, it's like...
She ain't even on TV.
I think it's like Lana. The same thing. Like, it's just,
thought that was weird that they did one on Lana.
Did you see the clip of her just being really upset, basically talking about how Rusev is no longer with her?
Good, because I hope that's on there. I hope they. Wow, okay.
Oh yeah, it's out. Yeah, there's a clip of it that we have on Wrestling Inc. where she talks about how hard it's been, and on social media, when she had the fans in the crowd, at least she was in control. She had the power, and now with no fans, the only interaction she's getting is on social media, and they're so mean to her, and they're telling her to just kill herself and die.
Jesus Christ, what?
Yeah, and she broke down. She was just
screw you. None of our listeners do that crap, so I shouldn't say screw you because our listeners ain't doing that crap.
Yeah.
But if your friends of friends of friends of friends are doing that, you tell them I said go screw themselves.
Absolutely
weak. That's so weak to jump on a tough guy keyboard and tell a woman to screw you. Tell anybody to do that. Screw you.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah. David Draper is saying, how do you think fans would perceive current Roman Reigns when they eventually start selling out arenas again for Raw and SmackDown? Big pop.
I think this is working for him because I do fear they would pop for him a little bit.
Yeah, maybe not yet. But maybe by the time they do have fans.
I would. For what it's worth, I would.
Yeah.
I'd be cheering them on. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, WrestleMania will be interesting if everything goes to plan, and they have that at Raymond James Stadium. That will be the first big show with fans. WWE show.
Yeah.
And then Peter Bai is asking, what was the original plan for Abel? Team with Taker. Abel.
Oh, me.
No.
Peter Bai, so smart. Good memory. This somehow ended up on my Wikipedia. If somebody knows how to get
your
into
Wikipedia, that was a good
somebody
slip.
take that out because is it Wikipedia or Wikipedia?
Wikipedia. But Wikipedia is better. I like that.
Does it have another meaning? Anyways, well, listen, because on Wikipedia it says like my character was able. No, I was wearing a mask in OVW to work like on my body language to play bigger, if that makes sense, to work on my body language on moves and stalking my opponents and going slower, but you letting my body do more of the talking, if that makes sense. And wearing a hood was supposed to help me do this. Cornette went crazy because I was the top babyface at the time. Like, you put him in a hoodie, he's a good-looking guy. Why are you putting him in he went bonkers on them over that, Johnny Ace, and ripped Johnny Ace a new asshole over it. But did what I was told, wore it in practice, and then wore it on OVW television. And long story short, Stephanie and the writers had said that when I do get pulled up, one of the ideas that they had was, because I told them I'm getting used to they asked me if I like the mask. I'm like, I don't really like it, but I've gotten used to it. Like, all right, well, you may be wearing it because we have an idea for you. And the idea was pitched as, one of the writers pitched it as Abel, Kane's brother. So by proxy, Undertaker's brother. And so in my head, I was like, this would be okay. I'll wear the hood. I don't give a shit if I get to be their brother. Hell yeah. But it didn't work. I didn't wear it. Instead, somehow Vince came up with the stutter character. But that was an idea that I have talked about a couple times that they did pitch. But that was not a character of mine. So for it says nicknames on Wikipedia, take Abel off.
Are there any...
A tale of two gimmicks, man. Yeah. How drastically different. It's like Dr. Isaac Yankem and Kane.
So let me ask you this, though. Nobody would recognize who you are if you have to wear that mask.
Yeah.
So, maybe it's I don't know.
But then after, over time, Kane had that mask for a long time, and then over time, you eventually...
23 years. Yeah, I'm going to have a 23-year run. I hope people need to give him way more credit than they do. I hope. Yeah. Kane, they said it on the Stone Cold podcast, that is like the second greatest creation ever in WWE history as far as character goes.
When you really think about it, when it's a gimmick that has nothing to do with the prior character that a wrestler has used, Vince has had mostly flops, with the TL Hoppers and, all those kind of where he created a character out of nowhere. And those two were gigantic successes, compared to a lot of the other ones.
Yep.
Real quick, Justin Lopez saying the Liv Morgan documentary.
Okay.
It starts from April of 2019 when Riot Squad splits up until now. So, yeah. couple more of these super chats, and let's go to the next segment. Keith Robinson saying, this is early, but that Alexa Bliss Nikki Cross video piece before the match was literally pay-per-view worthy. That was awesome.
It was awesome.
It's really good.
I mean, WWE, they do those video packages better than anyone.
Anybody.
And that's across everything. UFC, well, yes. UFC does them pretty good.
UFC's, they've copied them, though. They copied wrestling in general with the build-up of these fights and how they do it.
Plus, when you're using real clips of people talking smack, it's people really talking smack. It's different. Stephen K saying, with WWE now licensing content to Peacock, how long until the WWE network is no longer a thing with the pay-per-view model returning? That was the talk before COVID. Vince was strongly saying that on the investor calls, that they were looking to move the network somewhere else. So, and now with all the importance on streaming, I could definitely see that happening this next year.
So why would pay-per-views come back on television then?
So what they would do, like the UFC model, is the UFC is on ESPN Plus. They do their free shows, but they also have a pay-per-view. So you have to be signed up for ESPN Plus, and then you pay another $60 or $70 for the UFC pay-per-view. So they're saying WWE, they might, for these streaming channels to make money, they'll need to charge for those pay-per-views.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like, what's the last WWE pay-per-view you would have actually paid money for, and how much? I mean, Mania this year was pretty good. That's probably
Mania, but we just had a pay-per-view I really liked. WWE did. It was like 3 or 4 months ago.
Survivor Series was good last night, but
no, it was like 3 or 4 months ago, and we all loved it. We all were raving
SummerSlam?
about it. We weren't expecting it to be that great.
The one with Roman and Jey Uso, that one.
Clash of Champions.
Yeah, Clash of Champions.
We were all really big on it. Like I gave it like an 8.5. I think I forget the name of it.
Yeah,
it's tough though.
Yeah, Jackson Collins saying, just popping in to send love and support the podcast. About to hit bed. Stay safe, boys. Alexa was gold tonight. Push Keithley. And Matt, love the hat, brother. Thank you, Jackson, as always. And then Chris Pantaleo saying, Matt could have been the third brother, the Morgue.
Pretty good.
Dig it?
Yeah. So, number one, so we set up Asuka versus Lana in a backstage segment tonight. With I don't know, maybe they're teaming up. That was friendly. Set up the one-on-one match for the championship. But before that, we had a number one contenders triple threat qualifying match: Riddle versus Sheamus. This was a very lengthy match. Where both guys got a lot in. Riddle did ultimately get the win, though, and he's going to go on to that triple threat next week. So we've talked about his atrocious promos. What did you think of the wrestling tonight that he did?
What's that?
Well, no, I'm saying, like, so Riddle, we bag on his promos, we bag on his character, the lines
his wrestling. Excuse me. His wrestling is always amazing. I think he's great in the ring, bell to bell. I think he's incredibly original. His moveset's different, and you can't take your eyes off him. I don't like his entrance. I can't stand his entrance. The flip-flops I hate, right? But from there on, once the bell rings, my eyes are glued to everything he does in that ring.
Yeah, he's great in the
really
ring.
He is.
And this match was really, really good.
Yeah, it was.
My only complaint, and this is with just tons of wrestling in general today, is this: they kick out at two too often. When Sheamus is hitting the white noise from the second rope, it's just if you can't keep someone down for two, it just means it didn't really hurt all that much. So I don't know. I just think they kick out at two way too often, and that's across the board. That's not just this match, it's all over. But the match itself, it was solid.
Yeah, it was good. We'll see what happens. You think Riddle's gonna face Drew with the pay-per-view, go all the way?
No. So the plan is, I don't know, I don't want to spoil it. Maybe I'll say it at the end when we're almost done.
Okay, there you have it.
Just remind me.
Got it. Firefly Funhouse tonight, the high point of the show. Yeah. We had Bray and Alexa talking about friendship, the vile, evil, repulsive friendships. Talking about Randy Orton setting fire to the Wyatt compound. And then we had Friendship Frog showing up with a counterpoint, talking about the value of friendship. Alexa going into a trance, attacking Friendship Frog. And then you might say, okay, new character, kind of silly, kind of stupid. But then we got a Friendship Frog montage of like his life as a tadpole all the way through like high school graduation. The character, I thought they put more creativity and effort into this than anything else on the show tonight.
Very original. Can't say it ain't.
It's very good. I liked it a lot. I think these two are still the best part of the show, and it's the one thing that really stood out as being different.
Always the best part of the show. Always, every week.
Yeah.
It's good. I think these get a little redundant after a while, but it's still entertaining.
When they're doing new characters, but that's, I think, the reason why I especially want to give this one attention, Raj. I do feel like they phoned it in with the Firefly Funhouse, but doing a new character, doing that montage at the end, like, this wasn't just a rehash of things we've seen before.
Yeah, that's true.
It was good. And on social media, this was one of the standout things everyone was talking about. And I think that in a show that just feels so repetitive and boring so often, we should definitely applaud their creativity. Let's talk about the Raw Women's title match, Lana versus Asuka. Matt, did you think Lana was going over tonight?
I really did. I thought tonight was her night. Big debut on WWE Network, behind her, right? And here was the push. The Rocket's been on her for weeks. I mean, couldn't everybody predict that she was going to win?
I thought Nia or Shayna might interfere and pull something. I mean, I didn't know what I expected to happen. No, I'm seriously. And part of me was like, if Lana
you
goes
thought they were
over,
going to interfere on her behalf?
Yeah, or do something weird. I mean, I don't know. Raj, we've been hearing from the quote-unquote dirt sheets now for weeks. Oh, big push coming for Lana. They got big.
I haven't seen that.
Lana.
I think that's fans taking that as I think the big push was what you saw last night. Was Lana?
It wasn't a big push. It was
I know.
To be able to answer and say, no, we would never bully one of our own talents, especially a female talent. We would never do such a thing. We would never punish her because her husband is a free thinker and want her to go elsewhere. No, we wouldn't do that.
Doesn't it make Lana look bad when she's celebrating winning a match that she didn't do one thing in? Yes and no. Yes and no. What are you supposed to do? As a heel, yes, I could see you're celebrating and acting like you won something big.
What do you want her to do? Like yelling curse? Like, damn it, I won this way. I didn't want to win this way.
Well, just be like, hey, yeah, I got you back, Nia. You didn't tag me in. Well, now I won the match. Be sassy about it. But when you're acting like it's a big achievement, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they didn't. I think they could have done more with that and let her go out there and cut like a babyface promo.
Guys, she's not any type of spotlight. They don't put any energy into writing for her. Oh. The only energy they put into is how can we screw her over this week and send a message to this Rusev guy.
I mean, so
seriously,
she did pick up a win this week, but she did get her ass kicked the whole match too.
Yeah. So Nia and Shayna were on commentary. They got involved in this match. They started beating up Asuka to cause a DQ during this, and that which led to Asuka and Lana teaming up. And Asuka beating Nia and Shayna essentially in the tag match. I mean, I could see. Do they keep this pairing going with Lana and Asuka, or is Asuka going to get a one-on-one opponent for TLC?
I will say this: if they do that and they keep them as a tag team for, let's say, more than 2 months, then I will admit I am wrong, and they really did have plans for Lana to do something semi-big with her and take her a little bit more seriously. But I don't think that's the case.
I mean, I can see them doing Lana and Asuka versus Nia and Shayna at the pay-per-view for the titles.
That's it, though.
Yeah, but I don't see it going much farther than that.
They will not win. Yeah. They will not win.
But how... We talk about this a lot, broken record here, but how insulting to the rest of the Raw Women's division and any other talent if we're not even going to have Asuka defend her title and have 2 women face for the tag titles at TLC, and so we're just going to combine them all into one match.
It depends on what they do with it.
And right? They still could have a title defense too with Asuka. They've had
Asuka goes twice a night. Yeah. She's done it.
Leonza Duncan saying he's been a Riddle fan since UFC. That this is him, of course, turned up, but again, that's him. He failed test for pot there. The bro thing was over in the Indies and NXT. There's a difference between the Indies and the main roster in front of millions of people. And if that, yes, that's him, but if that's turned up, maybe he should turn it down, because I think there's enough people that are going to find that irritating that, that you start getting that fan backlash.
I'm sorry.
Not everybody dialed up is a good thing.
Right.
It's so unoriginal. Why don't we just, have his new gimmick be that he thinks he's super handsome and he's very vain? I mean, the bro thing is perhaps second only to that in the most played out, repeated gimmick in modern professional wrestling.
Jody Shauna Jenkins saying 2 ways to liven up the tag division on Raw: bring up Breeze and Fandango, or bring back the Gemini. I forgot about the Gemini.
Gemini, where did you get that? You like his the relative or something? Of the Shane twins. Good
reference, because I don't think that word has ever been said on this podcast.
Ever. Those are good guys too, by the way. Good guys.
Yeah. Justin Lopez saying the payoff to this whole thing has to be Lana winning the tag titles from Nia and Shayna, presumably in a tables match at TLC. Oh?
Yes.
I can see that.
If that's the case, again, I will eat my words and say, you know what? I was wrong.
No. Antoine Ferris saying Matt sarcasm, the best part of the show tonight.
It's the best part of every show.
It's funny, Noah Jennings saying that's what my mom says about Riddle, that the bro thing was so 90s. Like, when your mom is dunking on Matt Riddle, maybe it's a bad guy.
Tina Miller saying, I don't like Matt Riddle, and I like everybody. All right.
Pete Dunne. That was the best he was when he was paired with Pete Dunne. That's like the 3 weeks that I found him amusing.
Yeah.
So, Asuka and Lana won this non-title match against Shayna and Asuka, with Asuka rolling up Baszler for the pin and the win. Backstage, MVP caught up with Matt Riddle. Can't stop talking about Matt Riddle. Matt pitching the Hurt Business's ideas, including pizza-flavored yogurt or Brogurt.
Oh, Jesus Christmas.
Just getting mad.
Yeah, it was just so bad.
Yes. No, it gets you angry. Yeah, he's right. It's
and
so
it's
annoying.
Like, you want to talk derivative. Remember that Ali G thing like 20 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this was like a bad bootleg version of that. It was not funny at all.
MVP was good here. I thought MVP
He's
acting
never not good.
irritated. I thought he comes across real.
Always.
But yes, the high point when he said that they're not bros, Riddle went, "Aw." But aside from that, I don't know. So good news, everybody. Matt Riddle's going to come up with more business ideas, and we'll see what happens with him in the Hurt Business in the weeks to come.
Next.
Bobby Lashley versus Keithley. This was interesting. So I have to admit, I left the room for a moment before the finish of this match. How did this work with MVP interfering and causing the DQ for Keithley to win this?
Yeah, Lashley, it looked like Keithley was going to beat Lashley. So I guess, it ended up being the same deal. So instead of Lee beating Lashley clean, by pin, he interfered and caused a DQ. So Lashley wasn't beaten.
This. I mean, think about it. You just admitted you got up and left the room during Bobby Lashley versus Keith freaking Lee. This is the problem. This should have been a pay-per-view main event potential type of match, and it's not. One, because Bobby Lashley's not a former world champion by now, which he should have been and should be. And Keith Lee, what they've done with him has been absolutely atrocious. Atrocious. There's my little boy's coming out here.
Oh.
Huh.
Aw. Go back inside. He's going back inside. His mom's boy. Sorry. That's adorable. He misses me. What was I saying? Keith Lee. Like, we talk about it all the time ad nauseum. Nakamura, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, the Demon King. So many NXT products that were ready to go to mainstream television, to Raw and SmackDown, as is. Don't touch them. They're ready to go. Some of the main event talents, even, I would argue. Yeah. On Raw or SmackDown, they could have been. And they have to get in their own goddamn way every single time.
Every time.
Keith Lee, I thought it would be impossible. He's the one guy I'm going, nope, they have to see it. There's not, I can say it every week, there's not another Keith Lee growing on a tree somewhere for them to go find and pluck out of indie USA companies. You're not going to find another guy like that. Not that talks like him, sounds like him, works like him, looks like him. You're just not. And I don't get it. I don't get it for the life of me. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
That being said, I thought the match itself was pretty good, and both these guys are doing leapfrogs, and these are huge
the
dudes.
Match was awesome, but
I was enjoying it.
Yeah. But again, this is a marquee main event pay-per-view type of match. And both talents should be a hell of a lot further along than where they're at and how they're positioned and viewed upon. Look at what match number this was. When we get to the arena each day, guys, there's this huge whiteboard with everyone's matches on it. From the very beginning of like back in the day when they had Sunday Night Heat and dark matches on to Raw, and then it lists from 1 through whatever, 5, or 1 through 8. And like 8 would be like your main event, generally speaking, right? And it's like, to look at that whiteboard, it's Bobby Lashley and Keithley, like 3, 4. Get the no, there's no excuse for this.
Yeah.
I can't stand them sometimes. The how they rate for these guys.
I agree. Terrence Whitted is asking, Matt Riddle as a heel?
Yeah, I think you have better success.
I think he changed his presentation up. I imagine, like, I don't know if he can pull it off, but
I think he could. I think he'll annoy people. And I think that's when he'll get into the cocky thing. Whenever we become heel and we don't have that much experience, the first thing we all do is like, I'm better than all you. And like, that's so easy to do.
Yeah.
And that's like wrestler starter heel kit type of gimmick.
Yeah.
And go back in time, every wrestler pretty much has done it the first time being heel for the most part. And I think he'll have to do that when he turns heel. I think it'll be natural for him to want to do that. Or annoy people with the bro thing on purpose and be written to do so.
Yeah.
Maybe they're doing that now. Maybe he is a heel. They haven't shared it with us.
Perhaps. But no, this was a good match. I think it's so smart they protected Bobby in this to let Keithley proceed to the triple threat next week, which is good. Keith's new music, people seem to like it. I don't know.
Still not better than his original.
I think the problem is you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. It's the same thing that happened with Shinsuke after that terrible debut feud with Dolph. Like, the audience gets you just get this like stench of mismanagement on you. I don't want to say failure.
It sucks.
But,
it's not fair to the talent, but it's the truth.
Yeah, you're just trying to dig yourself out of a hole the entire time. It's really unfortunate because he was white hot coming out of NXT.
Glenn, why is your square so big in the middle?
What do you mean?
Your square is bigger than me and Raj's, I just noticed.
I'm not seeing that.
You're sizist. I knew it.
Not going there. We're not doing that ad tonight, Matt. We're going to make it through the show. We're going to make it through the podcast.
Okay.
So, Nikki Cross versus Alexa Bliss. Great recap video.
Yes.
Before this, setting it up. Love Alexa's new entrance theme, which we've been hearing now for a couple weeks, but we really got to hear it tonight. Good match. She no-sold a lot of Nikki's offense, and then when she was affected by it, she broke down crying, pretending what's happening, essentially faking out Nikki before dropping her with her version of Sister Abigail. This was everything it needed to be.
Yes, it was. This was perfect. This exact. I'm always nervous when she's like how they're going to present her when it's time to wrestle. But this is how you do it.
Yeah, it was cool.
Just don't do it too much. Just don't do it too much.
Yeah, I don't think you could do a full match of the crying and stuff like they did tonight. But
it was very well done.
Yeah, it was cool. I'd prefer they probably keep her matches short.
Yes, yes. More still just do the character stuff. Super short if she has to wrestle. Again, her money right now isn't really in wrestling, even though she's a great wrestler. It's that character. It's the stuff doing stuff with adding to Bray. She helped freshen Bray up again in the Fiend character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, look what she did tonight when she won, and the facial expression, what she did in turning to the camera and doing that look. I'm telling you, she could be the biggest female star in the entire company if they book her right now.
She's a good-ass actor, isn't she?
Yeah.
So good. So good. And I'm telling you, just that gravitas she had. And again, she might not be the most talented woman in the ring.
She's one of them, dude.
She's definitely...
First dual champ.
No, but you know what I'm saying, though, Matt, because we talked about this before. I think she should chase Asuka and possibly take the title off Asuka. And I know people have said she's not quite at that level of technical wrestling that Asuka is, but I'm saying her gravitas, her demeanor, her star quality... I think she's got and they
think she is?
desperately
Kelly?
need that right now.
Are they treating her like she's Kelly or something? She can
Oh.
absolutely work. She
No,
can
I think she
absolutely
can.
work with Asuka. I'll take that. I'll argue with anybody on that.
I
Asuka's
would like to see
better.
it.
I'm not going to say she's not.
Absolutely.
But if that's the barometer, then who the hell is going to be able to get in the ring with her then?
I know.
Because not many others can hang with her as far as if you're talking about technical style wrestling that can do every single thing that she can do. There's not many that can. Sasha's amazing. None of them could at the level that Asuka does. That's like saying the same thing with Daniel Bryan. Like, if you can't hang with Daniel Bryan, technically speaking, then you don't get to wrestle him? Get the fuck out of here.
Well, so here's the question, though. Okay, so here's the question, though, Matt. So if she's arguably comes across like the biggest female star on Raw, does she need the title, or do we keep her separate from that?
If she's going to do more superpower type stuff, you know what I mean? Like no selling stuff and magical stuff here and there, right? Like superpower crap. Like Undertaker stuff, right? Or Bray Wyatt
like the Fiend, yeah.
The Fiend. I say no because I said the same rule about should apply to the Fiend. I remember when they tried to put him in the championship match at first. I'm like, this is a terrible idea. He doesn't need a title. He shouldn't even know what the hell the title is because he's a monster. He doesn't care about titles. He cares about coming on TV and causing destruction.
Yeah, and it seems like the 2 times they did put the title on him, they didn't know what to do once they did.
It hurt him, is what it did. It hurt him and it oversaturated him.
Yeah.
Wow!
David Draper is saying, do you see AJ Styles finishing his career with WWE?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, same here. I think he recently re-signed, and he's 43. I think he's definitely finishing up. Enrico Palazzo.
Enrico Palazzo. Yeah.
Hey, it's Enrico Palazzo! Enrico Palazzo was Chubbs from Teen Wolf. That guy. The guy who said it's Enrique Palazzo.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes. No, and I'll give you another one. He's from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I never saw that Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but I remember hearing that.
Oh, what was his name on Pee-wee's Big Adventure? Something is. What was it? Francis. Yeah.
There you go. Beat me to it.
All right. So he's asking, where in the world is Naomi? Naomi had surgery in September for a massive fibroid. Is that how you say it? But it had been causing her anemia, fatigue, and some abdominal pain, other issues for the past year and a half. So she's recovering from that. So whenever she's ready. And then finally, Justin Lopez with the super chat saying, Bliss is the logical choice to take the title off Asuka right now. Everyone else in that division is cold AF.
I mean, yeah.
That's a good point. Who else is over? Like, what's WrestleMania? It's probably just a multi-person match is what it's looking like right now with how they've been booking them.
Yeah. There's a lot they could do. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what direction it goes in, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens with it. I think Alexa, in particular, and I'm going to say this, Alexa's overshadowed Bray, in my opinion. I mean, she's the reason to tune in and watch each week. Bray is her sidekick, not the other way around.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about the main event tonight, which, we saw the Undertaker 30-year package again. I like how they edited in the stuff from last night. It was very well done.
This package is one of the best packages they've done in a long time. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. But then we had the number one contenders qualifying match, Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. The winner is going to go on to face that triple threat versus Keith and Riddle next week on Raw.
I like how they were referring to this. They said, this is like a WrestleMania type matchup earlier in the night. It's like, yes, it was at WrestleMania last year.
Yeah. Yeah. So in this match, the Fiend made an appearance, getting in Randy Orton's head. So it looks like we're going to have more of Randy and the Fiend and Bray going forward. AJ getting the win, and he's going to go on next week to that triple threat.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that'd be good.
As for right now, it's a triple threat.
That'll be good, though. I think it'd be a good triple threat.
And you think it's going to be so? Raj, let's talk spoilers. You think it's going to be Fatal 4-Way with Braun?
Well, we'll do that at the very end. I don't want to because this is a spoiler.
What spoiler? What they're advertising for house shows? Like where's the confirmed? It's all rumors. It's all.
This is pretty. This is pretty set. What the main event of TLC will be.
Oh, Scoops Giri over here.
I know. He thinks he's cool, making everybody wait to the end of the podcast.
It's not my scoop, but
Okay, so Matt Morgan, final thoughts on Raw, so Raj can get to spoiling TLC.
It was very meh.
yeah, it just felt long in the tooth. Like it wasn't. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
It wasn't good.
No.
Yeah.
Joshua Taylor's asking, did you guys not see the Fiend jump over the barricade? I think I missed that because he was
he ran away.
When he was behind him,
Yeah,
and he made the scary sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Randy Orton versus the Fiend just it doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't really. I don't know. It doesn't get me interested.
there's history at least.
Yeah, and remember that like they had one of the worst WrestleMania title matches of all time.
That was because they were projecting shit on the ring, and then there was that House of Horrors match.
Which was
But
one
the
of the worst.
build-up, but with Randy burning down the shack, that was awesome.
Yeah, the segment. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean Orton when he was with the Wyatt family for those few weeks was pretty cool, but
Yeah,
but
it was pretty cool.
Well, we'll see. See what
I'd rather
happens.
see Edge versus the Fiend. Someone new step in there, and Edge should be coming back fairly soon in the next couple of months.
I think Randy with the cinematic match, like what he did with Cena, would be really, really good.
I think once fans are starting to come back, I'm kind of done with cinematic matches. I feel like they keep getting worse and worse.
Okay, let's spoil TLC and wrap this baby up.
All right, real quick. First off, Top Flight officially signed with AEW. So
Good. They're exciting. They're fun to watch.
Oh.
Yeah. And then also the ratings this past week, SmackDown, let me pull this up real quick, but it did its second best number since WrestleMania. It has been on a tear since this Roman Reigns heel's turn.
Sasha Bank champion.
And Sasha, yeah. And with the Sasha stuff and, stuff with Bayley. So it did 2.33 million viewers on Fox. They did a 0.7 in the 18 to 49 demo. That also is tied for their best number in the demo since April. So, they've really turned it around since the summer, and they've been pretty hot.
Good news.
All right, so now the spoiler. This is per Dave Meltzer. The main event of TLC, it's going to be Drew McIntyre defending against Braun Strowman. So maybe there's a non-finish next week, or Braun comes back and it turns into a 4-way. But that is that. And, there had been a tease for Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns, but that might not be happening yet at TLC. So we'll see.
So great. This is exactly what I told you guys a long time about. But a big guy like my size is called stealing the pay-per-view. You're always in a position, even if you lose every match, where because you're humongous, it could always be that one time that people might believe that you might win. And therefore, they steal. What's called stealing a pay-per-view. They did it with Nathan Jones in that WrestleMania, and that they were going to have him in that tag match with Undertaker versus A-Train and Big Show. He just wasn't ready yet, so they couldn't let him wrestle. But originally, that's the first time I heard the term, we're going to steal a pay-per-view match with him, because he's huge. And Braun is at a point where ain't nobody believing he's beating Drew McIntyre. Mm-hmm. And that's a shame that we're at that point and we can't see that happening. That's crazy.
Right.
But he ain't winning. Hell no.
What year was it that Braun was on fire? Was that 2017, 2018?
2018, 2017.
Even when the poor guy beat Goldberg and finally got to live out his dream of becoming champion, it was like 2 years too late.
Yeah.
I was happy for him. I like him. He's a good guy. But just like, they did him terrible. They started him the right way, and then they ruined it. Yeah. His first time versus Brock, it should have been his crowning achievement. Yeah. He beat Brock his way. It should have went down.
Great Balls of Fire, the ambulance match against Roman, the Symphony of Destruction match against Elias.
He was ready. Ready.
Yeah, absolutely. DNA of TNA Morgan fan saying, hey guys, Edge versus Fiend at Mania is actually planned. That's one of the matches they're discussing. They've also, there's a few others, but
that's interesting.
That is one of them.
That'd be an interesting match.
Yeah.
Sure.
Tina Miller saying Daniel Bryan and Roman at WrestleMania.
Ooh, what don't you like about it, Raj?
Well, they've been beating Daniel Bryan on Smack. Like Jey Uso beat him a few weeks ago. I always hate that. Like someone's going to be in a world title match. They need to be getting wins.
Then they need to start right away.
But I think what most people really want is Roman versus The Rock, if that could happen. But
oh yeah, of course.
If that can't,
like you think that's like saying, you know what I mean? Like most people want Roman versus Hulk Hogan, and
well, no, The Rock is for the
Cold.
first, but The Rock has been saying it himself, so it seems more of a possibility.
He has. I hope so.
Yeah, and then finally, Seth Rollins is out for now. We mentioned this on the podcast last night. He's on paternity leave. Yeah. So he's probably out for the rest of the year.
Yep.
Hopefully he comes back, Royal Rumble, babyface, the whole Messiah thing's done.
I hope the Messiah thing is done too.
It's ruined my love of Messiahs.
Stop reading Twitter, Glenn.
I'm not reading Twitter. I'm censoring myself. I was like, how far am I going to go with this? I was thinking of joining a cult, and now I'm just completely turned off to the idea. Braden Cease, $2, saying, have you guys ever checked out OSW Review? I have no clue what he's talking about.
I don't know what that is.
Wait. I have heard of those initials. What was that?
Sure.
I was thinking OVW at first, but...
No, I don't know. Sorry, dude.
Old school wrestling reviews.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
No, I've never seen that.
Someone had a good point in the chat. Tina Miller saying The Rock can't happen with no fans. No,
there's supposed to be fans. There's supposed to be fans.
Vaccine, maybe. Although I'm reading today, like we're not going to get it as quickly in the distribution, and I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited about these vaccine developments.
It's December 11th is when they're going to start pouring out.
Like here in Florida, the plan is they'll put them in the senior citizen homes first.
Right.
Yes. First responders, frontline workers.
Yes.
But hey, 3 vaccines.
Yeah.
Which one are you going to get?
All 95%. AstraZeneca also 90% with the smaller dose first and the bigger dose second.
And it's tough because, no one wants to end up with the Betamax of vaccines.
No.
Technically superior, just not as popular.
No.
Well,
my beta humor falls flat still. 35 years of making the VHS beta joke.
Betamax was actually better.
It was better, and I died on that hill many a time. And you remember when your video store stopped carrying Betamax and it was just all VHS?
What was like? I don't remember Betamax, honestly.
I actually I've never seen one, but I've heard like that's what they would use at like TV stations and stuff because of higher quality.
When VCRs came out, there were 2 different formats primarily. One was VHS, which some manufacturers, some electronics companies were behind. Then there was Betamax, which was Sony's format. And with studios, it was like, oh, you have to choose. Are you going to release? It's kind of like Xbox or PlayStation. Where are you going to release your tapes and put them out on? And VHS was cheaper, even though it was shittier quality, so it became more popular.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It's
what
like
did Betamax look like? Was it a tape or was it?
Yeah, it was a tape, but it wasn't as
big.
It was like more like a square than a rectangle.
I do remember it then. I don't remember what it looked like physically once you put it in the machine and played it. Like better quality, like you guys are saying.
It was better quality.
It was kind of like when they had HD DVD versus Blu-ray there for a little bit.
Which one's better? HD, right?
Well, Blu-ray won, but I think it was actually pretty comparable. I think it was just different disc authoring.
Yeah, exactly. Like the quality and everything was the same. I think Blu-ray just had Sony's backing, and it won out.
The format wars, I'm telling you.
That's pretty dead too. Now no one uses physical media. It's all streaming.
I'm debating if I get the new Xbox, getting the one that doesn't even have a disc drive. You just download everything.
Physical media is dying.
It's true. I've got like a stack of games, and I can't remember where it is half the time.
Yeah.
Because we download everything. So, any other news? Any other things to cover?
No, that is it. Doing
a tight 60 here tonight.
Yeah, we were like right on there. Let's throw one more thing just to get us. Oh yeah,
Matt Morgan is thrilled with this one more thing.
Eternal Goat 95 saying this is why they should have been building up Big E.
What? I mean, they should always be building him up, but why in this case?
I think not having a big opponent at WrestleMania, maybe, if The Rock can't wrestle.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, here he goes. In case Rock versus Roman doesn't happen.
Okay.
And Michael the Virus pointed this out on Twitter, and people are talking about it. Abaddon is returning on AEW on Wednesday.
Oh,
Where the
nice.
hell? Where's she been?
Injured.
Injured?
She got injured. Gosh, some sort of jaw injury, but yeah, she's back.
Good.
Yeah. There you have it, folks. So Wednesday night, who's on the Wednesday night podcast? Rob?
Me.
Just me and Matt this week.
You two
Short.
together.
Yeah. So it's gonna be the shortest podcast we've.
Having a candlelight podcast discussing AEW and NXT.
Why
We talk
that be
about
candlelight?
I just seem more romantic. Talk about what you're thankful for. You can air your list of grievances. It'll be a lovely. So Matt and I, though, are going to be on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, to talk about the SmackDown after Thanksgiving. Oh, will there be a food fight? Tune in to find out. Not on this podcast, but likely on SmackDown.
Yes.
Till next time, he's at BP Matt Morgan. He's at Raj Giri _303. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein, and we'll catch you back here next time on